It's a good development because the people of Southeast and the South-South region, they have a lot of things in common, and they have a common cultural background to some extent. We have a language, common language. You look at the geography or the weather around here, it's always almost the same thing. And don't forget that these are people that are coming from the old Eastern region. Before we are now divided into Southeast, South-South. These are the states that form the old, Eastern region. And they have a lot of things in common. And I think it is the right time for the governors to come together and begin to ask, not just as Southeast and not just as South-South, but as an old Eastern region, regional integration, calling for restructuring, coming together to ask, where is the old Eastern region in the scheme of things in Nigeria? You know that oil, the major source of income in this country, that is oil, is coming from this region. It's coming from this region, Southeast, South-South. That is where it is coming from. Then they ask the question, how far have we fared? How far have the South-South and Southeast fared in terms of allocation of resources, in terms of infrastructural development, in terms of political representation, or in political position in the country? Now, we believe that they are coming together. It's an eye-opener, because people that are one, they continue to be one. Now, Southeast, South-South governors have come together to clamor for restructuring. And that restructuring is what we believe that it is what is required for this country to forge ahead. It is not just that Southeast, South-South are asking for it. Even from the North. I remember Atiku have asked for restructuring. President Obasanjo have asked for that. Because this country, we need to restructure it. Things have to be evenly distributed. There has to be equitable distribution of resources. Somebody cannot be generating resources, cannot be coming from somebody's land, and that person is not getting the development, equal development in return. They say, who please, you take care of the geese that lays the golden egg. Because the resources are coming out from the South-South, and that is why we are having agitations. The agitations has grown over the day, because you go to South-South, particularly where this crude oil is coming from, you will not see, there's no appreciable development there. Particularly the states where these oil wells are located. You can't find good water. You don't have good schools. Even electricity is not there. We are saying that we need to come to round table to sit down and discuss. This country needs to be restructuring. There were things that were not getting right from the amalgamation of this country. There are things that have not been gotten right from the creation of states. There are things that have not been gotten right from the way allocation is being distributed. There are things that have not been gotten right from the way national population census is conducted in this country. There are things that have not been gotten right on how the elimination of constituencies were done in this country. And because of that, we need to come back and sit down and say, these issues under Goodluck Jonathan came up in a confab. And the confab looked at some of these issues and agreed in totality that, yes, there are issues that need to address. One of the paramount issues there was that Southeast deserved to have an additional state to make it 6. Just like others. We know there are other states that have 7 up there in the north. So these issues has to be readdressed for us to exist as one nation, for us to exist as a country. Because when these things are properly restructured and addressed, agitations will cease. The agitation of men, the Niger Delta will cease. The agitation of IPOB and the Mossab will cease. And so many other agitations in other areas.
Some people are rooting for regionalization. Can we still go back?
Yes, regionalization, you see, far back in those days before the presidential election of Chagari, you discover that we fared well at our regions. In those days, the northerners based on groundnut, exportation of groundnut, while exportation of cocoa was based in the west, and in the east here it was exportation of palm products. And by then, you come down to the east here, you see that the premier of the eastern region, there, Michael Opara, established a lot of palm plantations. Now, if you have regions generating their revenues, you know, have independent government, generating their revenue, and at the end of the day, contributing back to the central, I think that will make the revenue, the region, one, to develop fast. Because if a particular region is not yielding anything, but at the end of the month, they get more allocation from resources, that revenue of resources generated from other regions, such region will not develop. They will not. But when you allow regions to go back to the region and we have regional government, then you see there will be competition even within the Confederation State of Nigeria. In a Confederation State of Nigeria, you have competition where there will be competition between the northern region, the western region, and the eastern region on products coming up. Because you know that it is what you generate in the region that makes you strong. But the system where we are now, I don't need to work hard. All I know is that even in a region, you go to the region and they say they shouldn't sell alcohol. They don't sell alcohol. They don't sell certain things. But when the VAT that is coming from those products is being shared, you still get the VAT. So why are you getting the VAT when you're not selling it? If you're not selling it, then don't give them the VAT of it. Let the VAT go to only those states that are selling it. So these are things that need to be structured. If you are selling alcohol more and the cigarette in Lagos, let Lagos get the highest percentage of the VAT. And the states that are not selling it, let them get less. So you don't ban certain things in your place, you don't sell it, and when the VAT is coming, proceed is coming from the sale of such thing, you will still come and collect based on your areas of wide geographical area where there are sometimes no human beings staying there. Then you now use that geographical area we need to look at the national population census. We need to look at our census. We need to introduce the element of tribe in our census. Let us know. It's not because you have 2 million people in Kaduna, for instance. Which tribe make up the 2 million people in Kaduna? Because of some certain section of this country have this belief in traveling out and establishing business outside. Most times they are not at home. And then based on that population, you use it to make allocation of to a state. And at the end of the day, where they have the population, they are not recognized.
Incidentally, shown that tribes should be introduced. And there was a time that they were using religion, that they said they would no longer be talking about.
It is even an understatement that Odumegwu opened his mouth and said there has never been a census. Odumegwu said there has not been a credible census in Nigeria. That was his offense. That was his offense. And that is to say that this process has been manipulated over years to give us the impression that a particular section of this country is more in number than the other section. You understand? So that is what he protested against. Now, talking about population, why wouldn't you include religion in population? So where again do you expect to get the statistics of Christians and Muslims and traditional religionists, whatever you call it, theists or whatever in your country? Where again will you go for data if it is not from NPC? Where again will you get the data of a tribe? Now a child is studying history, a child is studying or writing a paper in the university, and they cannot get the accurate population of Christians, for instance. He could not get accurate population of Igbos, Ijos, for instance. He could not get accurate population of the thieves in Benue. Then we don't have a data. That means that our data bank is faulty. Because even the outside world will make reference to that. Even investors will be interested in this thing. An investor who is coming into Nigeria who is going to produce a particular product that he believes will be consumed mostly by Muslims. We want to know how many Muslims in Nigeria, not just saying approximately, because that is what will help him to prepare for his production. Not just how many they are, but where they are predominantly residing, so that can also influence his siting of his business. So to say that religion will also go out and tribe will not be there, that means somebody is trying to hide something.
It appears that mass is now
well, you know, in agitation, when agitation starts, it's just like we in the labor sector. When you see an issue and you start contacting or reaching the employer, trying to let the employer to nip it in the bud, and the employer ignores it, when it degenerates into crisis, you don't just use an appeal immediately to quell a crisis. Now, this agitation were growing up, and nothing was done about it. And now, people are even prepared to sacrifice their life for it. That is the situation where you can look back at the sit-at-home strike. You understand? That we had. Now, for these people to back down, it doesn't just mean that leaders appeal to them. There are things they saw that were wrong, that they want to see how they can use this agitation to redress or address. Now, if the leaders now start addressing those issues, you understand, and they see the commitment of the leaders in addressing those issues, just like when you're on strike and people come and say, please pipe down, let us mediate, and this issue will be resolved. And people come out genuinely to mediate, and you see the result coming. What else do? You call off. You understand? So it's not just making appeal yesterday and overnight you expect Nnamdi Kanu and the rest of them to say we are not coming at it. No, they will see genuineness of those leaders in addressing those challenges, those issues that has resulted to the agitation. Now, when issues are addressed, fine. You must not only achieve your result by one way. If the elders intervene or those leaders intervene and get federal government to start addressing this issue, it's not must that what gave rise to the movement of Biafra is because of marginalization. It's because of deprivations and marginalization. Now, because of that, people start agitating, want to be on our own. But if the place is restructured and everybody is accommodated and people are giving their dues and placed where they're supposed to be, definitely the agitation will die down.
Back home,
our position is that the present governor, Governor Ifeanyi, has done very well, because we have even given him an award as the best labor-friendly governor in Enugu State, because we have worked with about 3 governors now, and he came, and with his the meager resources that we have now and challenges, you understand, and from our own sector, we felt, one, he has related with us very well, and he has shown us what I call openness, because not that actually we have been very well remunerated, you understand, but when you have a father and you relate well with your father, and your father is telling you, yes, you want this, we cannot get it for now, but look at what we have, let us start from here. Yes, you will be able to say yes, even though my father don't have the money to meet my needs, but at least he was able to tell me reasons why, and I saw reasons with him. You understand? On our own side, we have related with him. He has shown us an openness. We have held series of meetings with him. We have discussed issues with him. When the Paris Fund came, we saw that it was judiciously used, applied 100%, when some states cannot even apply 30% of it. The bailout fund came, fine, applied 100% for what it was meant for. We know actually that the resources is now in terms of the fund that is coming, and the salary, though it is not, it is meager, but it has been coming, on time. From 22nd, it now come on 23rd. So because of the regular salary that is coming, and the state's pension is also regular. The state service pension is also regular. So because of all these things, we felt, yes, that if this man have resources like before now, when the state's allocation was like 3 times what it is now. If it was this, if we were to have this man to be here and have the increase in allocation, I believe in terms of increasing our salaries, that one will not be a problem. Because once the money is there, if you can do this when the money is not there, and if we have more funds, that means you will do more.
The last word to Nigeria is in this critical time.
Well, the last word in this critical time is that is something that maybe because we are not used to it, whether they call it recession, whether you call it hardship, whether you call it depression, whatever you call it, is a challenge because we have been enjoying booms. We have been enjoying booms from 1970s, oil booms. And that we never knew that one day the oil price can crash down to the extent that we are now selling at, we got up to $30-something per barrel. Now, because we are used to having even excess crude, and instead of saving it, we were sharing it. You know, the governors went to court when the Obasanjo opened what they call sovereign wealth fund to save money against this kind of period, and they went to court that money should be brought out and be shared. Well, it was shared, and now we are largely our economy largely depends on oil. Largely depends on oil, and once oil has gone down, the thing is affecting us greatly, and we are almost an importation nation. We don't export. What do we export? 90% is by what we use here is by importation, and that means that once anything that affects dollar affects the goods. Anything that affects dollar affects the goods. So my last word to Nigeria is that it's a development that we don't know it will come, and it is here. So we have to follow it, we have to endure, and we have to all pray. Pray in your own denomination, pray in your own religion, that things will normalize. It's not only Nigeria. That's why I said the hardship is in all the nations. If you look at globally, the oil price has gone down and is affecting virtually all the nations. But because those who are prepared for this kind of time are not finding it too difficult, but there are people that have already saved and preserved things for this kind of time, just like the days of Egypt and Israel during famine. So what is that we should endure and pray that things will normalize.